So the reason we are all here is to kind of understand what liberal arts is as a career.
I was a very average student, got 90%.
Peer pressure aa jata hai.
A lot of it.
It can be positive, it can be negative.
And what does a typical curriculum look like? Like, do you have to select your subjects at the start of your application, or you have the option to choose it once you move ahead with your degree? What does it look like?
You can say it's a break free from the normal BA or any BBA, BSc courses that you can do.
You have to do something different which you like, which you would love to do and you would enjoy.
You need to get out of your comfort zone in order to, break those boundaries, because I think it's imperative for your survival.
So this is obviously an increasing trend, where a lot of students from India also want to move out of their parents' houses immediately after 12th. So the reason we are all here is to kind of understand what liberal arts is as a career, right? It's a very Western concept that has come to India possibly in the last 10 to 15 years. And there's this very interesting fact that says that around 50% of the global leaders have graduated with a liberal arts degree. A lot of colleges are trying to, sell liberal arts degree on that particular fact. But for a 9th grader or for a 10th grader to decide what liberal arts is and to kind of select this as a career is like a long journey. So we thought that, we could invite people from the industry, people who've gone through this entire journey and share experiences, basis which a student will be in a much better position to make an informed decision, right? So welcome both of you all to this lovely liberal arts podcast. We'll first start with a round of introductions. Ridah, you want to go first? So while you're introducing yourself, if you can also help me with, where you did your schooling from, what your 10th result looked like, what your 12th result looked like, and where you graduated from. Again, if you can also throw some emphasis on which subjects you've taken as your major.
Right. So, hi, as you introduced, I'm Ridah. I did my schooling from Lucknow, Loreto Convent, till grade 10th. I was a very average student, got 90%. Then I did my 11th and 12th. I shifted schools. I took PCM and I got 91. But then again, this was a decision I did to keep my options open. It was not my first priority, but then again, having science on your CV does a good job. And I always wanted to do liberal arts since like grade 9th or 10th, as you just mentioned, to introduce it to somebody who is small, people who are deciding on what subjects to choose. Because it was my parents who wanted me to do PCM in 11th and 12th. So I really used to feel that, I'm missing out on subjects that I actually am interested in, like geography, psychology, economics, history. But then again, I always also used to wonder that these are all the subjects that I want to study. There was not a single subject that I would have wanted to miss out on. So it was very clear to me since grade 11th that I wanted to do it from Bombay and MIMS. Because the other options that I had were either symbiosis from Pune or Ashoka, Haryana. And Bombay had some friends, relatives, so that was the safest option. That's why I took up liberal arts in Bombay and MIMS, and I just got done with my exams. So finally a graduate now.
Super. So how easy has been the journey moving from Lucknow to Mumbai? I think this is the first time that you would have come to Mumbai.
Yeah, first time. And not exactly the first time. Like, as I mentioned earlier, we used to keep coming. So there was a sense of familiarity. Right. But then again, living here was very different from the tourist experience. Right. The tourist experience was very glamorized, all Bollywoody, oh my God, the sea. Right. But then when I came here, I actually started to live here.
They don't show the crowds of the trains.
Yeah. Crowds of the trains and the beaches with the actual trash.
Right.
So only the nice horizon and sunset is shown in movies. वो जो नीचे का crop होता है ना. Where you actually have to walk. Yeah. After everything that I went through in Bombay, I think God has had something great in mind. If I can go through this, I think I can go through anything. But it was very enlightening also in a lot of senses, because with UP, with Lucknow, I think people weren't that accepting. Here, I got to be more of me because everybody was very accepting. Like nobody told me that this is something I cannot do or this is something that I should do. Rather, when I was more of myself, I got more appreciation. And that was in terms of the city as well as the college. Like Alhamdulillah, I had really nice college mates as well. So I never thought that, oh my God, what is this toxic place that I've come up to? Because I did have these apprehensions. I'm moving to a completely different city, different state. I might face discrimination. Also owing to my my religious identity. But Alhamdulillah, that was not the case, at least with college.
Super. And like they say, Mumbai is not for beginners, but definitely
It
Mumbai,
is.
Mumbai is more accepting and it is liberal in that sense.
It is.
Great. Shruti, how about you?
So I did my 10th from Sanjeevani International School, Khargar. So before that, I used to live in Bhandup.
Okay.
And my father shifted, and because the office was very far from Bhandup and everything. So in 10th, I got 91%, which is okay, fair. And in 12th, I took PCMB. God knows why I took PCMB, but yeah, I still love biology. I love science. I love reading about scientific things, human body, genetics, much more. And so I got 80% in 12th. And after that, I was a little bit dicey and confused about what to do next. So I just did not want to go, the mainstream way, medical karna hai, engineering karna hai. That was not just my thing. And I was like, you have to do something different which you like, which you would love to do and you would enjoy. And even, now when I've graduated, last year I just graduated in 2023. So even with the jobs I have taken up, I love doing them. So in 12th, Ashoka University's professor came to our school in Vishwajot. And they were like, just telling us about the courses and also a few people from the hospitality sector and everything. So liberal arts really intrigued me because I think rightly said by Ridah, it actually, just gives you the freedom to be you.
Correct.
And express yourself, and actually improve yourself. And it's kind of like a grow with the flow, not like just go with the flow. So I was like, liberal arts is a very nice idea. But then again, my father, my mother were like, BBA we have. Then there's this NEET, and I was about to give the NEET as we were talking before. And I did not because of COVID. And I thank God that was the best decision though. So I was like, I'll just go with liberal arts because the subject basket is very great. And there are a few colleges. Then I shortlisted the colleges. I ended up taking MIT WPU Pune, and was a very memorable experience. I love my friends there. It's like my second home now. And I took my major as economics, managerial studies as my minor. And overall, if I want to just tell you about liberal arts, if you are really someone who wants to blend your logical and rational thinking with creativity, and it's not like that कि किसी के पास creativity नहीं होती है. Everyone has that, just not in the sense of art or craft, dancing. There are many ways you can be creative, and I think that is what liberal arts got out from me.
So we have we have Ridah coming from Lucknow to Mumbai, and we have someone from Mumbai moving to Pune. So how was your journey in Pune, and how smooth was the transition?
So basically, I wanted to get out, to be very honest. I wanted to experience the sense of responsibility that comes in when you move to another city.
Correct.
The financial responsibility, you are very particular and peculiar about how you spend your money on. On which things and what to eat, what not to eat. So I had a friend who came from Lucknow to Pune, and she was also like, she never came out of Lucknow or her hometown, and she was also overwhelmed with a little bit of responsibility. Kabhi kabhi ho jata hai, a little bit of issues. But then again, that is when it hit me ki, oh my God, even though I was in my hometown for whole of my life, but when I moved to a new city, I am responsible. I'm a mature person, so it makes you mature. But you can also have a little fun. So Pune is a great place to have fun with your friends.
Correct. So this is obviously an increasing trend, where a lot of students from India also
Hmm.
want to move out of their parents' houses
Yeah.
immediately after 12th,
Yeah.
have that kind of exposure.
Mhm.
So what do you guys feel like? Is this the right path? Like, should you move out of the city if given a chance, or should you stay back? Because a lot of times, people tend to go on to wrong paths. There's a lot of smoking, drug abuse
True.
that goes on behind the scenes as well. So would you recommend for a student to move out immediately for bachelor's, or stay till your master's and then move out for master's?
So it all obviously depends on person to person. So I think if you are someone who thinks you're mature enough, and your parents are also inclined towards sending you
And they
out,
trust you to an
yeah,
extent.
yeah, and there should be self control.
Correct.
You should not do this, should not do that. I won't say if I do, but yeah, and that is the only factor. I mean, you should also trust your gut feeling somewhere, because ये कर रहा है तो मैं भी करूँगा. She's going clubbing, I'll also go. No, somewhere you have to trust your gut feeling. Somewhere you have to trust your instinct. Ki, is this right for me? So I feel ki, the people I had in my batch were very responsible, and they knew ki, if I do this, will this be right for me? If you want to do it, do. And respecting boundaries is the main thing.
Correct.
So saying no is one. So if you want to move out, it's great, because it's great for your learning and your personality development. But again, if you are someone who loses control very quickly, I would not recommend it.
And someone who can easily succumb to, let's say, societal pressure.
Yeah.
Not
I think conformity, apart from self-control, I noticed that a lot of people wanted to do stuff out of conformity, out of, wanted to,
sense of
get
belonging.
accepted, belonging, yeah.
The validation
exactly
is needed. Peer pressure aa jata hai. It
a
can
lot of it.
It can be positive, it can be negative.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened with me too. There are a few people who will, put pressure on you to just do the negative things,
Right.
which is kind of, but then again, you get a sense of, first year I was a little naive. Then second year, then I started understanding ki, these are the people I want to be with. These are the people I don't know. Because
Want to avoid.
Yeah, clearly, because 2 years of my course was fully online because of COVID. And the third year is when I went to the campus, and I got just 1 year. So the people who I was hanging out with online were totally different, and the people who I was hanging out offline were totally different.
But I think it is an experience that everybody should, if not after bachelor's, then after master's. Because doing this after bachelor's is a very big step. You have been in a very controlled environment in school, going out at the same time, coming back home, coaching, whatever. You are completely under your parents. So suddenly shifting from that to this atmosphere where, timings are random, you're coming out, going out whenever you want, in terms of timetable, college timetable, random again, then moving out to another city, another state. I think it is an experience everybody should get, especially people who are, too dependent, who are too comfortable with wherever they are. You need to get out of your comfort zone in order to, break those boundaries, because I think it's imperative for your survival and building your own confidence in yourself. I think independence, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, just see the charm behind it. Oh my God, I want to live away from my parents, or, do whatever I want.
True.
Clubbing, partying and all of that. But there's so much more to it. That's just like 1% of it.
Great. So let's come back to, our main agenda for today.
Yeah.
Let's try to break down what liberal arts is, right? So if both of you all were to, break down what liberal arts is to someone who's studying in, let's say, 10th grade, right? A young boy or a young girl, how would you define liberal arts, and, how would you kind of break it down to them?
Okay. So basically what liberal arts is, you have a variety of subjects. It's basically a basket where you have many subjects. It's a holistic platform. So whether you want to, improve yourself, personality-wise, communication-wise, skills, technical skills, be it soft skills, hard skills, it's a combination and mixture of all that. And it is all chosen by you. no one else is going to choose that subjects for you. So basically, it's a holistic perspective. So you have foundation courses, core courses, university courses, and plus major and minors, and then there are a few electives. So basically, this is liberal arts, and you can branch it down to major, minor, electives, foundation courses, and then your university courses.
Perfect. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, basically to give a crux of it, like to a grade 10th kid, you can say it's a break free from the normal BA or any BBA, BSc courses that you can do. Liberal arts would be in terms of subjects, because they'd want more clarity on what you can do with it as a career. So in terms of subjects, it would be an amalgamation of all the three streams: science, commerce and arts. So with our usual graduation degrees, we would only be restricted to choosing like say one major in English or one minor that the college offers with that particular subject. Now you cannot say have a major in marketing with a minors in literature in a normal BA course. Even if these were two very separate fields that you were interested in both of them, you would not get the opportunity. But I think in that sense, liberal arts makes it very easy for you to not have to choose between stuff that you like, whether it be science, again, commerce or arts. So it's an amalgamation of all these and
What they call as multidisciplinary.
multidisciplinary. Yeah.
Got it. And what does a typical curriculum look like? Like, do you have to select your subjects at the start of your application, or you have the option to choose it once you move ahead with your degree? What does it look like?
Right, so in case of NMIMS Liberal Arts, so this course was of 3 years, the one that we did, and we had 6 semesters. So for the first 3 semesters, our subjects were fixed. Like everybody has to study all 8 subjects. We were offered 8 courses throughout the period of 3 years for all 6 semesters. But for the first 3 semesters, our subjects were fixed. Like I remember, like, okay, there'll be a lot to name, but we had psychology, we had journalism subjects, we had history, we had philosophy, we had political science, we had sociology, we had economics. Then we had the subjects that electives that we spoke about earlier, like fine arts appreciation, music appreciation. Then we had subjects related to journalism, mass comm, media, communication. So for the first 3 semesters, I think as she mentioned about the courses, the foundational ones, those were fixed in order to give us a better idea as to what do we want to do in our 4th, 5th and the 6th semesters. So from the 4th, 5th and 6th semesters onwards, we were supposed to choose one major. For instance, I took economics. So every semester henceforth would have 2 compulsory courses of economics for the 4th, 5th and 6th semesters. And apart from those 2 courses, I was free to choose 6 other courses that I would like. So from those other courses, I had the option of choosing subjects from marketing, from journalism, from literature, from history, from philosophy, from sociology, political science, psychology. But yeah, in that sense, it wasn't restrictive. Like you could take as many subjects as you want. I mean, up till the count of 8. But then the 2 compulsory subjects that you would have throughout 4th, 5th and 6th semester onwards were your subjects that was the subject that you had chosen for your major. In my case, it was economics. So in order to complete a major, it was around 8 courses per subject, and apart from that, you can choose any course that you want. So in my case, if you look at my CV, it would just my mark sheet, it would just say a major in economics. But then I have the same amount of credits in, say, sociology and psychology as well. So you can count my degree as a triple majors, because the knowledge, the amount of effort, all of it is the same as compared to my economics, which was my majors.
Makes sense.
Like for MID, it's kind of similar, but when we were the first batch of liberal arts there. So first our exams we take quarterly. So like semester, it was not semester wise, it was trimester. So after every 3 months we had our exams, but then it shifted to semester. So basically, the first year would be foundation courses, and it would include like research methodology and philosophy,
Yeah.
economics, everything. And we had also like earth system and processes, a little bit of
Environment,
geography.
yeah.
And with that, they used to give a little bit of electives also, like I mentioned earlier, understanding cinema, screenplay writing, or even music therapy, dance therapy. And the university decides where to place it, first year or second year. So basically, they would give you a gist of what actually you're going to learn if you take this as a major. So it's very, on a superficial level, and you don't need to, brainstorm so much for the foundation courses. You just need to keep an open mind. You intake everything and learn it thoroughly. And then from the second year, we started, choosing our majors and minors. So my major was economics, and for every trimester then turned into semester, we used to have one particular or two particular majors. We have major 8, 10 majors, so in the same subject. So we had like behavioral economics, and then macro, also like a little bit of financial investment analysis, financial accounting, everything like that, and innovation and technology. So
Government policies and all of that as courses.
And then again, with minors also, the case is the same. So you will have sub-subjects subjects in the minor, and it will be like a diploma kind of a thing in minor. Basically, you have 2 degrees, but the one which will reflect is the major one.
Got it.
And so we had HR, organizational behavior, then ethics, marketing, everything combined in management. Also, then we also had options of electives again. And though they had this, options of languages in the brochure, we did not get to choose it because the class was very small. And or else I would have personally chose French, because I've been doing French in my school. Like I did French for 4 years in my school. So yeah, that was like a little bit of turn off in an academic sense, because you gave
promised
it
something.
you gave it in the brochure and you did not. So you have an option ki you want to exit in the 3rd year, or you want to continue the 4th year too. So 4th year is basically research, and personally I did not find any importance of that, because my field is totally practical. I am into business management and management as a whole. So yeah, I exited in the 3rd year.
Super. So the 4th year is usually optional.
Yeah, it's optional. It's basically research. I think for symbiosis and flame, the 4th year was not optional pehle, and because they have math, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So yeah,
makes sense. So the early years are something that is focused towards foundation.
Yeah.
Basis that you get enough exposure, and you can then select your majors and your
All the
minors.
subjects, yes. Like I also mentioned, we had self-discovery, we had yoga, and we had art of living and everything. So it's a combination of not just the academic part, but also your overall well-being and overall personality development. So communication was like the compulsory subject,
which
you
is
had
good,
to-
right, in a way.
Yeah, it's great actually. So actually our yoga had credits.
All of our subjects had credits.
So just for the benefit of the audience, can you break down what a major is, what a minor is, what an elective is, and how credits work?
Okay. So basically, the major is a subject, that one subject which will reflect on your degree. BA Liberal Arts Economics.
Okay.
So it's not just BA Economics. So when the Liberal Arts term comes in, means you have done extra, other subjects in minor or in electives. So you're not just expert in liberal art, but also other subjects. So basically, that is the gist of major, in just layman language.
Do you have to study some extra number of hours to achieve that majors compared to a minor?
The credits, yes. We do have extra credits for major, like, compared to the minor, the credits are more for major. Okay. And there's an option for double major where you can, study the same and get the same credits for different subject. But usually, obviously the study hours will be more for a major because 2 to 3 subjects, the sub-subjects will be more compared to the minor. And in minor, basically the credits are lesser. And I think it's about 12 to 16, if I'm not wrong.
I had the same credits for all subjects that I was studying. It's a little different in that case. No, we do not have minors. We have one major, and then if I want, I can do 3 other majors for the 6 courses that are still left for me to choose from. So I think we are different in that case. It depends from college to college. I think it's very subjective, because she mentioned that majors would have more credits, but I don't think that's the case in my college, in an MIMS. So the subjects that I took for my final semester were 2 papers I had taken of economics, 2 I had taken of psychology, 2 I had taken of sociology and political studies. That was combined under 1 degree. And then 2 I had taken of media and communication, basically journalism, to put it in layman language. So if it's shown on my degree, I have done the same number of courses, that would be 8 papers in economics, as I have done in psychology and social and political studies. So technically it should be like a triple major. And then along with it, I had taken subjects like filmmaking and TV OTT, screenwriting, all of these, because again, that was a hobby. That's something that I'm good at.
That was your elective.
That was an elective.
Okay.
But then again, psychology could also be called as one, because my major at the end of the day was economics. Although I put in the same amount of efforts, I'm getting the same grades, the same credits, it still wasn't a major. And we do not have minors as such. The degree won't say minors. It simply will show you all the subjects that you've taken. Like she has a particular set minor, I do not.
We have a different working here.
We have electives.
So the curriculum again depends on the
On
university
college to college.
that you are studying.
Because as she mentioned, like electives, we had like understanding, understanding of cinema, music therapy, dance therapy, which are a little fun subjects. You will not read it or learn about it, in a mainstream.
It's very engaging. Like you get hands-on knowledge. Like for filmmaking as a subject that I had, we had VD Sir Vikas Desai, and amazing man. I think he has worked with Amitabh Bachchan as well. And he came to the college. He made us shoot a scene. He had brought the entire equipment, and that's when we realized that what the 2 hours film that we see, there is so much of work and so much of detailing, precision that goes on behind that we have no idea of. And then even in order to be able to create a film, create a piece of art, you do need to have knowledge of subjects like psychology, economics, and even sociology, because you need to know, if you're writing a character, the social background. You cannot just show maybe somebody from Bombay having the same values or the same dialect or language as somebody from a northeastern state. Like, that's something very basic, a basic example that I gave, but then it goes in depth. Like, art that is appreciated, you need to have a knowledge of how that character is going to deal with people. So this is just an example in the subject of filmmaking. In other places as well, like if you are just out here working, dealing with people, you need to have a basic idea of how to do that, what things you're supposed to be sensitive towards, what things you're supposed to keep in mind while being at a workplace. So I think in the sense of that, the electives and the subjects that were made compulsory, those were very beneficial, because they gave you a greater sense of understanding of how the world functions, and not just in an academic sphere.
Yeah, like a real world scenario, because I mean, where there are humans, there is psychology, and then the sociology comes in and everything. So I think, we had photography also. So it was very interesting, because I never thought I would do photography. So, we had this basic assignment, just get your photos which you clicked previously, just bring it and show it to us. And he pointed out so many things in the photos people have clicked. Even though you don't know this is professional photography, you have clicked a professional photo. But you did not know that. You just did it out of, ki chalo, ye setting karte, wo setting karte, but you did not know that is a thing. So that was really intriguing. So, likewise, liberal arts is kind of, it gives you subjects which is based on like real world scenarios, and it kind of prepares you for, current scenario. Facing the world. I mean, And basically pol science and all, people do know about current affairs, and people do speak a lot about today's current affairs and general knowledge and everything. But what they don't know is some people just blabber, yapping, clear cut yapping, and they need to know what is the history, what is the psychology, what is the sociology, what is the economic conditions then and now, and the comparison, the holistic perspective that we tell people about, that is what liberal arts gives you.
Makes sense. Fair. So how does one go around applying to this particular program? Like after 12th, is there any entrance exam, or how did you directly apply to the university?
So I guess I gave the exam for NMIMS.
And that is it.
Yeah. I did get selected, but then I rejected the offer. And for MIT, speaking for MIT World Peace University, it's pretty simple. You just in my case, I just had to fill the form and give the essential details, pay the admission fee, and then I got a email and a call from the faculty and everything. So I had to write kind of an essay or SOP, we can say, and submit it. After reading the SOP, they'll contact you again. Then you will have your interview, and it was a pretty simple process. I think because we were the first batch, I completed the interview, and my psychology professor, he was also a research professor, Tanmay Holdar sir. He left MIT, but then he was our professor and he took the interview, and absolutely favorite professor. And once the interview is done, you have to give out the essential documents of your 10th, 12th, and just fill out the basic forms. Everything is online, and then the session starts around June, August. So in between June and August, pretty simple.
How was the journey for you?
For NMIMS, we just had to give an exam, wait for the results if we got in.
Which was NPAT.
NPAT. So we just had to give that one round of examination, and I did not apply to other colleges because I was very sorted since grade 11. As I mentioned, no, this is what I have to do. So I was preparing that way, and it did not require a lot of preparation. Also, to be honest, because coming from PCM, I was sorted with my quantitative skills. And it was more about speed, the exam, because there was a lot that was covered. It was not too tough in terms of the course, but it was tough in the sense that you need to, you cannot spend hours reading a paragraph. You need to act fast. You need to think, be there in order to qualify. So that was there. That was one thing.
Okay, makes sense. What would be the ideal stream for a student to pick in 11th and 12th? Should it be science, commerce, or arts? Because that's how it stands as of today. What would be the ideal stream? I know both of you all came with science backgrounds, but if a student was supposed to, a student has already decided that they want to pursue liberal arts, which stream would you all recommend?
I think that's the beauty of liberal arts. You do not need to be from a particular stream in order to get in here, because I think only 2 or 3 of my batchmates were from science background, and all of them, absolutely all of them, were from either arts or commerce. So that's one difference that I felt in my first year, because in 11th and 12th, while preparing for JEE and my college exams, I had let go the habit of reading. I was always busy with formulas and just calculating, give me something, I'll give you that. No interaction, no words whatsoever. Right. So that I had become very mechanical in the academic sense. So it took me a little time, at least the first semester, to cope up with the amount of readings that were going on, because these readings were not just any plain readings. These were very intellectually stimulating and deep ones. You need to understand, not just in terms of language or grammar. You need to understand what's it talking about. For example, if you don't know, you read a 300 pages book and you don't know the concept of ghettoization. You just know that, it's different communities living differently in different areas, but you don't understand how it impacts the economy, the society, the government, the world. It creates ripples. So that is something that was very intriguing. And for that, I don't think anything can completely prepare you. You can be from any background and get into liberal arts. So that's the first thing. Second,
is there a lot of rote learning involved?
No, not at all. That was tough. Exactly, that's what I was coming from, because I was used to learning formulas, solving, and being done with it. But when I came here, there was no rote learning involved. All questions, even in the examination, even the class discussions, they were very application based. Like, for example, if we would take sociology as an example, our sir would not ask what the author says. He would ask, and the readings. First of all, there were too many readings. Not that I am against it. It was really good in terms of building your personality, your intellect, your understanding, and preparing you for master's job future. Personality wise as well, that was a good part of it. Otherwise, because of social media, because of I think all of these devices, people have given up the habit of reading. So I don't think you can learn enough from watching a video as long as your brain is not working out what it is reading. So that is something very important, and when they enforce it upon you, I think some things you only learn then. You might have 100 books in your checklist and would not read it until and unless you're made to read those by nook or crook. So that was there. And no, there was no rote learning involved. That is why I found it a little tough to cope with in the first semester. But then I got used to it, and that's why I started loving it even more. Like, every minute of labor that I was doing, it was not pressurized. It was a labor that I was doing with joy. Like, that's what everybody was telling me. People used to see me study that, you've taken, first of all, the name, it does not do justice to the course. Liberal arts was not liberal at all. We were made to do as much labor, as much effort as an engineering or a medical student would have done, first of all that. So a lot of people used to tell me that, if you had to do so much mehnat, why did you take liberal arts in the first place? You might as well have become a doctor by now. I was like, no, but this is something that I am doing out of my own free will. I'm liking the grinding here. There, it would have been a boring one because there was so much of application, there was so much of real life learning. Classroom learning went beyond classroom. It went to your relationships, to how you deal with the world, to job interviews. Like, we'll get to that later. But yeah, rote learning, I wouldn't say that liberal arts is something that you should do if you are just interested in rote learning and getting grades. If you actually want to get somewhere, so for me, my aim was always the UN. Since grade 6th and 7th, I wanted to go to the UN. So I was seeing how to reach there now. So liberal arts seemed like the best choice, because in order to reach somewhere, like, UN does not have specific requirements, right? You do not have a specific job that you need to, or a degree that you need to hold in order to reach there. But the subjects that we studied here in liberal arts, psychology, economics, sociology, political science, all of these subjects, I think they are imperative in the sense that liberal arts only made me realize that, we should have been taught these subjects in school as well, because they are so necessary for building your personality, for making you learn how to tackle with even examinations, if it's not just about rote learning. And I think with the new education policy, that is something that might be coming in, because liberal arts, like, when you see it, it is a very fancy concept in terms of its name. Like, liberal arts, people just imagine you're out there reading maybe literature or being fancy, doing poetry, but it's so much more than that. Some people confuse it with fine arts. Acha beta, ho gayi tumhari painting. Bro, liberal arts.
Some people confuse it with strikes, which is not the case. But okay.
Yeah. So a lot of it is, it's too practical. It is liberal in the sense that it does make you liberal in terms of how you think, how you work. So yeah.
It's true. I mean, in liberal arts, we are taught not what to think, but how to think. That's me. And comprehending, everything. Whether you're from science, commerce, arts. My brother, he's from commerce background. He's currently pursuing commerce. But, he also has this, something kuch alag karna hai. And, not just one subject, which is like, just monotonous and essay. So we had a lot of case studies, and I think the biggest takeaway from liberal arts would be, what it taught me, like the necessary skill I would need. So I want to pursue management consulting ahead. it would be like, active listening, active reading, observation, and analysis.
Correct.
That is like the crux of what you need to do in liberal arts.
So जो typically जो CV में लिखते हैं that I have critical thinking abilities,
Yeah.
team management skills.
Team management.
That is something that the liberal
We are
arts-
actually doing
Along with research. In our case, research was compulsory. Like, we do not have the option to drop it out. So, when I used to speak to people from other colleges, my other friends, in the first year itself, they used to ask me, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing this research paper, we have to submit it. They're like, oh my God, you're doing it in the first year. We do not have it till like the fourth year or the third year. So I think in that sense, I don't know about MIT, but NMIMS did prepare you from a very early age, because from rote learning exams to directly moving to write research papers, I think it does intellectually stimulate you in a good way. And the transition is big if you are not from arts background per se, but then again it depends from college to college. Like for our college, for the first 3 semesters, we did have subjects like environmental studies, quantitative analysis, and then we had a I don't remember its name, but it was so we studied genetics, we studied biotechnology in that, basically science.
So can you actually major in a science subject as well? Like, can you do a bachelor in liberal arts with biology as your majors?
Now that depends from college to college. Again, I think
I don't think so many colleges give that.
I think Ashoka specifically has a biology
And
as
I
a
guess
majors.
OP general
OP
also.
general.
because this concept is relatively new to India. I mean, liberal arts, basically, if you want to put it in a crux, it is nothing but the American system of education. In America, you do not have to, like if you go to graduate in computer science, you can still take biology with it, or psychology, or philosophy. If you're doing computer science in your first year of graduation, you do not like it, shift to, like I know so many people who went to become engineers, ended up with a doctor's degree. So that is what normal education system in America looks like. Liberal arts is just an adaptation of that. So I think with it being a relatively newer concept, at least in India, we still do not have many options in terms of colleges and subjects. But I think with more people, being aware of it, coming to know of it, I think things will broaden in terms of subjects.
I mean, the whole national education policy is based on the fundamentals of liberal arts.
Yeah.
So I think it's changing now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's great.
I think with national education policy, every other course will become a liberal arts degree.
That's the mandate of the
Yeah, exactly.
Because in MIT we have BBA and in marketing and all, and also event management. We had a subject in event management. So I was talking to a few students yesterday itself. So they said that we are having minor subjects now. So I think it's coming in slowly with every in every field, every subject. So yeah, the change is happening.
Happening for good.
Good, yeah.
Great. So we spoke about the entrance exams. Every university has their own entrance exam.
Yeah.
You can be from any stream in 12th, and it kind of depends on what you want to major in.
Yeah.
What does the fees look like, and are there any scholarship opportunities available?
Yes. So for MIT specifically, the fees was 3,50,000 per year, and yeah, it is huge. But then it's worth it, I felt. And obviously you get scholarships. It depends on your 12th marks. So there's a whole bracket, and it changes from time to time. So if you have 80% and above, there's some amount of scholarship you will get, and that would be deducted from your fees. And if you're 90 plus or 95 plus, the whole fees would be deducted, something like that. So it depends on what your 12th marks were.
But largely merit based.
Yeah, merit based, totally merit based. So yeah, my best friend got a scholarship from MIT itself. She had very good marks, above 90 I guess, in 12. So yeah, they do give it, and merit based itself. No other scholarships that I have known.
For NMIMS, there weren't any scholarships. That is one drawback about this course. I think it also has to do with the fact that it's Mumbai, very centrally located. The course fee structure for the course was 5 lakhs per annum. So that made it up to like 15 lakhs by the time you were done with the course. And usually people do not want to spend this much when it comes to a degree that is not professional in nature. Like with liberal arts, the first question people ask is, oh, what do you want to do with your career? So if you are looking to get a job, a very high paying job right after graduation, I wouldn't suggest liberal arts until and unless you are doing it with your own free will, or until and unless you haven't had you have a master's in mind, that this is, something I want to do later. So in terms of that, I think only private colleges in India offer liberal arts right now. That's why the fees is going to be high. I think we still, MIT, then NMIMS, I think we still stand lesser than Ashoka.
And Flame too.
Flame, Ashoka, but then again, fees is high. It's high, and in our college, there was no scholarship.
Then there are additional like exam fees and everything. So that adds on. A little higher, but then if you are really looking for something, where you want to grow holistically, in a full 360 manner, it's worth it. But if you're decided, I am pursuing marketing, then go ahead and do BBA marketing. There won't be any point of doing liberal arts if you are just looking at one particular subject in a very narrow vision. You have to keep your vision broad, and it might be confusing because there are a lot of options. But
that's what I was coming to, because you have so many options available. Do you tend to feel lost or overwhelmed with all the versatile career choices that you have? Like, what is the feeling like?
It is hard because, as I was talking earlier, you just have to, you do not have half knowledge of any subject here. You have adequate amount of knowledge of every subject you take up. The sooner I started liberal arts, I realized that we were in a Samvad series. So basically MIT gives out these series, Samvad series, for undergrad students and also for masters. So they call up speakers and prominent personalities to speak about certain topics. So we had this topic going on of history and time, space and everything. So liberal arts doing space was kind of shocking for other people, but we were very much interested in it. So the same professor was for behavioral economics for us, and it was a very intriguing subject for me and interesting. I had never, learned a subject which was so engaging, and it had my whole heart and my soul. So it was that good. And all credits to the professor though. So, there he was saying that liberal arts, they train individuals to be expert generalist. You have to be a specialist, but you also have to train yourself to be an expert generalist. Because if you're specializing in, say economics or finance, but if you don't know about marketing, you don't know about the market, you don't know about the study, there's no point in, specializing in that.
And that's the kind of skills that you require, especially at leadership levels.
Exactly. And getting into the companies, like now I got into the corporate, sector and working and everything. So to stand out, you need something extra. You need to put in that extra effort, that extra, labor, that extra time to just make yourself like a whole package that no one can replace you in the market.
Fair. Great. So anything that you want to add?
I think she pretty much summed it all up.
So how does one go around finding jobs or internships from this particular stream?
Right. So it also depends on your majors. If you are talking about jobs and internships, first be clear as to what do you want to work with. Do you just want to start working randomly, or do you want to work in a particular stream? In my case, since I had like double or triple majors, psychology, economics, so I was looking at jobs that can offer me both. Like, see, that is what liberal arts does to you. It does not restrict your career options. Now, having a PCM in grade 11th and 12th to having liberal arts, again, nothing was restrictive. I can apply to any place that I want, whether it be in HR or in the field of marketing, because we did have marketing majors, economics, psychology, teaching. A lot of people went in for jobs that they did not have majors in, but they still had those subjects as their electives. So for me, if you talk about internships, I was interning with a foundation from Lucknow. It was called Nurture Life. It usually deals. It was a psychology internship, but it again was a very developing one, and that our college did not, offer us internships or placements. So if you are somebody who's looking for placements right after college, I would not suggest at least NMIMS Liberal Arts, because we do not have a proper placement cell. And this is something that we were made aware of. Like, we made the conscious choice and decision of doing this subject just for the sake of it. But then again, out of utilizing the college experience, if you are good enough in making contacts, getting yourself involved with organizations, being in a good rapport with teachers. Teachers are really helpful. They provide you with a lot of work and internship opportunities, and our professors especially have been more than kind. Every other day, even now that we have been done with our examinations for more than a month now, most of our professors keep texting, okay, like, this is an internship opportunity, a job opportunity. And even with the majors in economics, you can apply to content writing, because again, I have had film making experience, I had TV OTT, I had screenwriting. So yeah, I think in terms of job market, if not the technical skills that come with engineering or say medicine, it does not restrict your options. You can apply anywhere. And with me, I applied to a company called Conversion. And luckily, that was the first company that I applied to, and I procured an internship also. The company basically, they convert, to put it in cracks, to like give you a gist of it, they convert window shoppers to proper leads. Okay. So it is, its headquarters are based in London, and they provide 24/7 live assistance, live chat options to various clients that approach them. So if for instance, you are a company, for example, nobroker.com, like if you log on to that website page, what Conversion will do is that they will provide you with a chat person who will have all the details of how the company functions, what services do they provide. But that live chat support assistant will be provided by Conversion. Okay. So this is what they do, basically convert window shoppers into leads through providing 24/7 live chats. And I think here is where liberal arts also came into play, because when I had gone for their interview, I hadn't done, data analytics or stuff that is really trending right now. But with the questions that they asked me, the technical questions as to, if you have a customer, if you have a client, how are you going to deal with them? Or, how are you going to make sure that you have procured and given whatever the client wants. So here is where, so there were other technical questions as well. I'm just giving you a brief of it. So here is where I could actually apply everything that I've learned in industrial and organizational psychology and in behavioral economics and in all the live assignments and surveys and researches that we did. I could apply it here in my interview. That's the first instance that I saw that, okay, this is coming to fruit now. With, but we often keep seeing these memes. What use is the Pythagoras theorem of? We do not apply it. We are not going to, go into the office and calculate, measure triangles. But this was too quick. Real world application was there, and even though it was not from that field, because they were interviewing me for a lot of different positions. I had specifically applied to content writing, but then again, they said that, it's going to be a very different sort of content writing, because I was, as I mentioned, I was more into poetry and the art form of content. But then they said it is going to be a fairly commercial based, in the sense that the content that I will be required to come up with will be about the company, the client, the research, provide this information to the agents who will, go ahead and take up the chat. So that is the kind of content that I will be required to come up with. But then again, when they looked at my CV, the researches that I've done, the subjects that I had taken, the final conclusion that they came to was, we realize with everything that you've done, although it's very different from what you have been used to doing, but I think you'll be able to do it because once, that was a personal remark, but then again, I would like to generalize it in the sense that they did say that, you are somebody who, after seeing everything that you've done, you are somebody who will be able to do everything, anything that you've put your mind to. And I think that also comes with liberal arts, because you need to have what you call a lot of stamina to do this, because although your thing will say one major, like your degree, but you will have put the same amount of efforts in every other subject that you've studied. You will get credits for that, of course, but then again, apart from just the credit that it gives you, it also helps you in terms of internships and job interviews.
Yeah.
About you?
I think, like she mentioned, the grasping power is necessary because you have not worked in the market yet, and So after my degree, I moved back to Mumbai and I started working in leisurely stays and experiences. It is a villa rental, home rental, and vacational rental company. So pretty
How did
good.
you find the job?
I loved it.
Yeah, as in, where did you find the opening?
So I found it on Internshala.
Okay.
So most of my jobs are from Internshala, LinkedIn. I do not personally recommend using like the Naukri.com or Indeed. Now LinkedIn has come in, so that's way better. So the most happening part of my job was field visits. And going out and taking the pictures of the villas, just seeing everything. So my position was business development, not in sales, clients. So basically client management, and I was a POC for the company and the client. So we had two sectors. It was managed and it was like the partnered one. So basically the full partnered sector used to come. I used to work with my boss, and he was a CEO, and he used to handle the partner clients too. So having just clear communication and marketing. So they started using me for shoots and everything, and we had a separate marketing team though. So I also had this interest in marketing, a little bit of designing, a little bit of editing. So we used to sit and I used to see, I used to watch them how they do it. So that's how a little bit of marketing enthusiasm came in. And liberal arts also helped here because the grasping power should be more. And the faster you learn things and the faster you do it, that will actually increase your chances of being the better employee if you are working. And I left the job because I started preparing for my studies for the GMAT. So I do have plans. We'll brief about them later. And then I joined this big dot jobs. It was basically a recruiting company. And there I was as people operations intern. So all the back-end, work that goes in, I got to know that. I got to know basically it was a tech recruitment. So a lot of technical stuff and everything. I got to know that. So, not like I do not have half knowledge of anything right now. The fields I have been, I do know everything. I've researched it, I've worked. So I fairly know everything what goes in. So, and as we say, the business documents or anything that comes in the legal documents, the ability to comprehend it, because the language there is kind of different. And I think liberal arts with research methodology, and also we had 6-month research time and 6-month internship, compulsory internship. So I did also intern in my father's company. And after that, now currently I'm working with Clotho Studio, which is based out of Toronto, Canada. And it's a slow fashion retail platform. Basically, we sell the sustainable products from India. The brands who are in slow fashion sustainable products, we sell it in Canada. And also there are Indian audience, and we want to go global. And here I'm working as a marketing and brand communications intern. First it was just brand communication, then they slowly gave on marketing to me. And here also, even though I'm an economics major, the market study is very important, because you need to know to whom you're selling your products to, the audience, the market study. So here the economics factor comes in, the analytical mind plays in, and also the rational mind plays in. So I think both are important, and that is how it is helping overall.
Fair. So let's say there's an opening for the role of an HR. So is there any advantage of a candidate who has pursued bachelor's in liberal arts with psychology as their majors versus a candidate who has just pursued a traditional BA in psychology? Is there a real advantage?
I would say yes, because for the example that you gave, HR, a person who has done liberal arts, for example, I have the same credits in psychology, I can call that as the second major that I have. In HR, obviously it would be in a corporate sector, right? So you will need to have knowledge of how the corporate world functions, which also has a lot to deal with marketing, a lot to deal with economics, as she mentioned. So yeah, definitely a person with a liberal arts BA honors degree would have an advantage because of the variety of subjects that they've been exposed to per se. Even sociology, a subject that I hear a lot of people not talking about with a lot of respect, like sociology mein BA mein kiya hai. It gives you a great understanding of how to deal with everything, and for you to have to be in HR, you do need to have studied sociology to understand the type of people that you're going to be working with. Because psychology focuses on, you can say, the human mind, like the biological, the physical form of it, apart from just, the diseases that we are spoken about. And when people hear psychology as a subject, they only think that, it pertains to, like, if I tell somebody that, I study psychology, they'd be like, okay, mere dimag mein kya chal raha hai, mujhe batao. Bro, I don't do mind reading. I've studied psychology. I can analyze behavior. I can give you answers based on that. And it doesn't just have to do with, diseases. Psychology also focuses on how to develop a normal person into a better human as well, and to increase productivity in work spaces, in your personal life, in your academic life. So if along with psychology you have the knowledge of sociology, because that pertains to the part of society. Now if you, for example, to take a real life example, if you are somebody who's always lived in Mumbai your entire life, you've just done psychology, you've been hired for an HR position, you do not know the audience or maybe the co-workers that you're working with. You do not know how life would be maybe in South India, further south, or in North. You will be, very nonchalant towards people who have come from various backgrounds and the problems that they are facing, being people from outside, not from Bombay. You will not even understand the depth and the struggles that people have to face every day just because of their identities, the way they speak, maybe the way they look, their financial background, the struggle, the journey that comes with migration, shifting. It is huge. I mean, I think even in sociology that should be major subjects. For example, migration should be a subject in itself. After having personally experienced it and having studied about it, we had various novels, various other, you can say, researches that we wrote on it. So if you do not know the people that you're working with, you are not doing a good job as an HR. You need to understand how people function. To be able to better study psychology, understand it and apply it, you need to have knowledge of sociology. That is what I gathered from liberal arts. because one subject helped with another subject. Any subject that I studied aided me in understanding another subject. Even when it came to economics, when I was studying, how the demand works, how the supply works, a lot of sociology and psychology came into it. Because, when you study a subject like behavioral economics, although it says economics, a lot of psychology is involved in it. Like, you need to know biases, how people think, what are they going to buy, how are they going to respond to prices increasing or decreasing. So, what demographics, what geographical, locations are going to react to a certain product a certain way. So even in the field of marketing, these three subjects, sociology, psychology, economics, if you have a base in it, you are going to, be able to ace it without having the knowledge of an actual marketing course. So yes, it hands down is way better and gives you a lot of leverage as compared to normal psychology course.
Yeah, and people would say that for a normal psychology course, you have done 3 years you have focused solely on psychology. Liberal arts, it also depends on the individual, obviously, but it also teaches you how to sell your abilities to the people who are interviewing you or the companies. So any certifications you have done, and I also recommend people who go for liberal arts, take up some extra certification courses, because one downside would be there's not too much technical knowledge that goes into it, because math and all, it's needed somewhere. Though we had, I guess, advanced Excel and everything, we had digital literacy as our course.
Get employable skills in the sense that it is very intellectually stimulating. Liberal arts is very good if you want to, do masters, get whatever career that you want to get into in the future. It won't restrict you, but then again, the technical skills that are required for the job market right now, I do not think that right now liberal arts in India is at that place where it provides you with that technical knowledge, because tech industry will always need hiring. Medicine is one field that will always need to hire people. But with liberal arts people, I think even with the name, they tend to be thrown off. They are from liberal arts. What will they be able to do? How will they understand marketing or sales if they see that title of art? So
because
I think
they
a lot
only
of
see the title,
exactly,
I guess, because they don't know what goes in. How many subjects we have done actually. I mean, if you just go on, talking about cinema or photography, or for that matter, graphology. So, we can speak about it because we have studied it. We have, actually applied it somewhere and did assignments and everything. But people would only just go with the title. So, because I have seen people, कि normal psychology कर लेती या फिर ऐसे ही कुछ normal economics honors कर लेते. But then they don't know how the holistic development, which is the brakes are on that.
Correct.
So that is not accelerated then. So in liberal arts, I think that is like a biggest advantage you can have.
So I'll tell you a funny story. A student came to us because we are into the space of career counseling, and he didn't like maths at all. So the parents were were of the view that because 11th, 12th he doesn't like maths at all, should he pursue something like liberal arts? Their vision of liberal arts was that it's for a student who's like weak in maths and does not want to do something like a BBA or let's say finance.
Right.
So how true is that? Like, do you really need maths, or is maths looked down upon in liberal arts?
No, I don't think it's looked down upon. I think liberal arts, having the knowledge of maths, did help me, first of all, get into the college, and then again go throughout my course, because as I mentioned earlier, in 11th, 12th, I had completely lost practice of theory and reading, and I had just become too comfortable with numbers and formulas. But then when it came to macroeconomics as a course, that is when, it was my time to shine, guys, because there were a lot of calculations, numbers. Economics, obviously, they deal with numbers. A lot of it that was required. When the theories used to go bouncer, it was time for the math to come in, because I could understand what the theory was saying, because I could make sense of the calculation that is happening. So I understood the theory on the basis of calculation. Like, for example, if the numerator is increasing, denominator is decreasing, we will get a bigger number. which can then be applied to your theory. But most of my batchmates, they did have trouble with the mathematical part, because then they were like, we've not done this. We do not understand the basics of how does it function. That's the reason that our course also had, we also had a course called Quantitative Skills to get us up to the level where we could function in liberal arts smoothly, pursue economics, marketing, or whatever that had to deal with numbers, while having the basics of what it requires, what mathematics requires. Something that you mentioned about parents, I've also heard this a lot. A lot of people tell me that, liberal arts is a course for the confused. Like, if you don't know anything, get into liberal arts. And that is true in a lot of sense, because a lot of my batchmates, again, they were not sure of what they wanted to do. They came to liberal arts for clarity. In my case, I knew what I wanted to do eventually and what all I wanted to study. So liberal arts just was a needed push. If you are confused and you think you want to explore, liberal arts does give you that opportunity to be able to explore what you want to do in the future without, again, restricting your options. So that is a plus. But I wouldn't say that it is, a course that you should take if you are not good at anything else, because it requires an equal amount of dedication and hard work as any other course of graduation would require.
Yeah, I mean, I had a very love and hate relationship with math till my 12th standard, and I think math is everywhere. It depends of what kind of math you're going for, and like we did economics and econometrics. It's all integration, differentiation, and on the software that too. So I think being from a science background, plus doing liberal arts gives you that, one advantage, that you can actually convert your formulas into statements and statements into formulas. You have that comprehending ability. So I think it's not for the one who's weak in math or who's great in math, nothing like that. It's for everyone who, even if you're confused, you want to explore, or you are, you're set ki, I want to go into this field, but I also want to gain external knowledge.
Not lose out on other stuff.
Yeah, like even if you're good at math, you're not good at math. Psychology involves statistics.
Exactly. Research, any subject that you're researching in, you need to deal with numbers and data, and liberal arts does prepare you for that, even if you don't have it, in the 11th, 12th, as you mentioned with that kids example.
And foundation courses also involve everything, like, digital literacy, for you to have a good knowledge, even if you have not taken IT in your 10th, most of us have taken PE, just to score good.
Better.
So, I mean, they, actually give you the practicals and, advanced Excel, aise karna hai, PowerPoint, aise karna hai. They let you use your creativity using the basic formulas, the basic structure. So, that is one thing. And you can always go for liberal arts whether you are good or not in science or maths.
And how were your respective campuses, and how did it kind of impact your overall experience?
I think I loved my campus. I have come from a convent school primarily, so I was used to huge places. And then again, Lucknow, major place for change. But then again, when I came here, the first day that I walked into campus, I first thought, I accidentally walked into H&M, because every other person is in a pastel. Even the boys have, long hair, baggy pants. The architecture also, like there were trees inside a Bombay building, and they were so real. I thought, okay, these people are doing a pretty good job at sustainability. But it turns out they were plastic. And chairs also, they were very fancy. Like if you walk into the Villepale campus, you will feel like you're, in a mall. A lot of times that, and the lifts that we have, they are like, capsule. Like if you you can directly launch yourself into the future. It feels as if, it's one of those movies. So a lot of times I took snaps of my college. People were like, oh, kahan ghum rahi ho, bro, college hai. So that was cool. But the college experience that I was hoping for, I I did not get that. I got something different. I'm not saying it was bad or better. It was different, but it's good. Like, I think I required it. For the first few days, I was really mesmerized, zapped. Oh my God, what is this, all fancy corporate thing? It does not really feel like a college. It feels more like an office, a very corporate office. But then again, it was good. Like, I think after going to this college, I wouldn't have been able to do a government college. Now, I don't think I'll be able to do one of those. Because I saw the difference bang opposite NMIMS. I went to Meethi Bai. And Meethi Bai, I'm sorry for any Meethi Bai viewers, but it is too crammed. Walking into Meethi Bai, I felt like, walking into a government hospital. It was smelling of phenyl and dingy lights just going here and there. So in that sense, campus was amazing. When you know that there's an emergency, you fall sick, and you know that there's nobody else to take care of you, or there are other issues, for example, legal issues or finding houses. So my parents, my father particularly, since I'm the elder daughter, he was, very upright. Like, if my school used to get over at 3, he used to come at 2:45 to pick me up. And the entire school knew that, oh, her father must be waiting. Ridah, tera papa aa gaya. Like, everybody knew him. But here, when I had to go out, look for houses, first of all, Ville Parle, Juhu area, we know that it's, mostly Gujarati dominated. And given my regional and religious identity, it was a tough time looking for houses, because a lot of the brokers, like, if you would go online and you would see, places to stay in, if the price online was 20,000 and then you called them up, like if I called them up and I asked them, the ad was posted yesterday, if the place is empty, they'd either say nahi bhar gaya hai, because they'd ask for my full name. Then I'd say Ridah Mariam, and then they'd be like, nahi ma'am, it's full. Or they'd be like, nahi, 20 ka nahi hai, 50 ka hai. Like, they'd, deliberately tell a higher price. So this was like, I obviously had seen a lot of it in Lucknow, but I did not expect it to be here in Bombay. Because my first 2 months of experience in college were amazing. I did not experience any Islamophobia or anything like that in college. So I had made this perception of Mumbai in general. But that, that was a very superficial part of it, 2-3 months of experience. When you went deep down into the city on this intellectual and social level, that's when you realize, no, it's there everywhere. It's just expressed differently. It's not just outright, but it is there. It has reached the roots. So I think in terms of finding a residential area, that is somewhere I faced a lot of difficulty, and it was very difficult for my parents to also take in, because for a man who used to be so early, half an hour early, wait outside my school to pick me up, for him to realize that I'm roaming around the streets at 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night, talking to random men, going to shady areas to look for a house, and an affordable one. It was tough for them to see that their little girl has grown up and is just at the age of 18, 19 is doing all of this on her own. So I think along with you as a person, it's an experience for everyone in the family to, trust you and not, like, be fine with the fact that, no, my daughter will be able to, take care of no matter what happens. So I think in that sense, it is very important for you to move out. If not just after graduation, if not just after grade 12th, at least after graduation, for a year or 2, you should be left alone on your own to manage, to see how you do in life.
She said about the, flat hunting and everything. Also, there's one thing, they have this, I don't know about hate, that's a strong word, but towards bachelors, especially girls, they think, tu ladka to nahi bulayegi na ghar pe, like, because we were finding out, and we were 4 girls, and all Marathi. One was from Odisha, and so we were batchmates only. So they were like, लड़की आई है, इन्वर्टर लगा देते हैं, नहीं तो अंधेरा होगा तो डर जाएगी. There is some sort of, whether you call it Islamophobia in your case, and there's sort of this stigma. Yeah, there's sort of, a taboo कि oh, ये लोग अकेले आए हैं. And she was like, the flat we rented during our second year. So she was like, लड़कियाँ हैं, मेरे को लड़कों को flat देना था. We could hear her, but she was talking to the broker. And I was like, कि I don't know what is this, but yeah, mainly in older people, it's seen ki there is such thing, and yeah, actually it's very
That sense of
disturbing.
responsibility, because
Yeah.
they'd feel like if anything goes wrong with you, being a
Yeah.
girl, society will, tend to hold a lot of other people accountable, and then that's why they do not want to take up that responsibility. I saw that here in flat huntings as well, but that was a very minor thing. The other stuff that I faced after that, I wouldn't call that anything.
How about you?
For me, I personally loved the campus because it was not secluded, first of all. For most of the campuses like Symbiosis and Flame, they are a little secluded, away from the humanity kind of thing. But I don't like that. I don't personally like that because I am an extrovert. I like talking to people. I like meeting people. I like going out, hanging out with friends and trying out different cafes. And I think the campus situated in the middle of the city gives you that, and the campus is really beautiful in terms of real trees, not fake trees, because they have this AI hill just behind the college, so it's open for everyone. And also the outside public used to come, and so it's like a very homely feeling there. And I would definitely give credits to my friends and the batch because they are the people who kept me sane there, because I used to hate Pune. Now I love Pune for some reason. And I mean, the batch was so mesmerizing, the intellect they had, because everyone came from a different background, right? And pehle I had, preconceived notions about a few people, but then it was so natural, it was so gradual and natural ki I opened up, and I started receiving different perspective, different views, and then that is like a feeling, that is one thing which will help you in the future too, because आपकी नहीं चलने वाली हमेशा, and you are not only, you are always not right. So I felt that was because of the people there, and obviously the professors, the teachers, the amazing people, so knowledgeable, full of enthusiasm. And even though we were like 5 people in economics major, they were always very energetic, and that made us energetic. So there is this MBA building which is kind of like NMIMS, very classy, very fancy. I love that, but our building was a mitti bai. So we used to go sit there, complete our assignments, and enjoy everything. So they have a basketball court and everything. It's pretty, cheerful, bright campus. It's very nice to be there. Airy, and Pune is less hotter. So
is there a gender mix issue? Like I've heard that liberal arts usually 90% of the candidates are
Women, yeah.
Yeah, there is an issue because my class had like 28 girls and 2 boys, and the
Lucky
boys
boys.
are the boys are besties now. So I mean, there is an issue basically with the boys, but I think there's this
it's
reverse
good for them, right?
reverse gender discrimination
I wouldn't call it
going
an issue,
on.
at least for them.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, even the girls, people usually go like, girls, it's a drama hoga. And we still are close to each other. It's been a year we have graduated, but we still text, we meet whenever I go to Pune. It's every other weekend. So, yeah, it's pretty good. But there is a gap, I think, because, most of the families, Indian families, are like, boys and, in general, men should be doing a thoda engineering type.
Boys and arts is a no.
Yeah.
It's still there. I think it's because of the stigma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
थोड़ा engineering करना चाहिए, engineering तो medical करना चाहिए, which I think should not be the case, because my friends were doing sociology and political science and everything, and they were acing it. So that stigma should a little bit go away. धीरे धीरे जाएगा, obviously. But yeah, it's great for someone who wants to discover many subjects, whether you're confused or not. But yeah.
Perfect. So I think we've covered most of what our agenda was. Just one last advice that you would like to give a student who is in their 10th grade or 11th grade and deciding whether they should pursue liberal arts or not. So what is that one advice that you would like to share with them?
Sure. Do not do it out of force or pressure, or just because it's trending and everybody else is doing it. Research about the college that you're going to, because again, the experience will differ from city to city, from course to course, from college to college. It is no doubt a great course to explore, but then again, see what are your priorities. If you want to get employed right after graduation, what are the opportunities that are offered by various colleges? I mentioned in my case, we were informed very clearly that we do not have a placement cell. So we were pretty much on our own. But then again, we did, and this was informed to us in the earlier stages as well. It's given on the website as well. So if you're making a decision, make sure it is an informed one. Make sure that you want to move to the city that you are choosing to. Again, in my case, I think I was able to deal with a lot of things that I went through because of the city. It was Bombay. A lot of difficulties. I don't think I would have faced a lot more difficulties had I been somewhere else, maybe a city that was not so safe for girls. Haryana, again, I would have had to deal with a lot more than I did here in Bombay. So make sure of all those factors as well. Make sure of the fees, the finances. Do you want to do your master's after liberal arts? What do you want to major in? Make sure that you're aware of all the courses that the college is providing, all the opportunities, what reflects on your degree or not. Because I think a lot of times people just, do it for the sake of doing it because they think that it's a very American thing, it's new, it's upcoming. Do not do it out of fascination. Do it if you actually want to, and you can also do it if you're confused, if you do not know where you are going ahead. But make sure that at least if you want to work after this. A lot of things, obviously, you need to leave it on God and trust, go with the flow. But then again, just make sure that it is an informed decision in terms of campus. What kind of a person are you? Because for me, as she mentioned, it was airy, it was nice, it was open. Our campus was nice, amazing. But then again, Bombay was a very concrete jungle, and so was our campus. It was all concrete. We did not have a basketball court or, actual sports. Sports ke naam pe we have a floor where there's table tennis and carom. So that is something, but I think that is a Mumbai thing. I obviously, NMIMS does not have to take the
where we
blame.
just had terrace for the sports ground.
Oh, you had a terrace? I don't think I've seen my college terrace. I don't think I've seen the sky from my college. So yeah, I think, but that's a Mumbai thing. So be sure that, you're also somebody who can take so many buildings, because I personally was somebody who needs to be out in the nature, in the open. I need air, I need all of that. So it took a little time for me to adjust as well. But then again, I made sure I compensated for that by my residential setting. I made sure I'm not living in a dingy setting where when it is raining, I get flooded till my knees, because I'm not that tall. And this is Bombay. So there's that. And yeah, I think a lot of other factors also need to be kept in mind. For example, if you do have local guardians in that city, whatever course you're deciding to apply to, apart from just, taking liberal arts as a subject, I think if you are deciding to move out, there are a lot of things that you need to keep in mind. But yeah, there are no apprehensions associated with liberal arts. Just make sure that it is an informed decision. That's all. In terms of traveling, commuting, finances, residence, the kind of courses that are being offered. I think that's all.
I think you summed up very well, and just to add to that, also just don't go with liberal arts as a degree because it's easy.
Yeah, it is not.
It is not easy. I mean, it's just as, not difficult, but you have to work.
Rigorous. It is rigorous. I would call it difficult.
Yeah, just as some other engineering degree, because you will have to put in some effort. So, because many of my friends, they just took it as and then they realized that no,
it is not for them.
You have to work and you have to study, because though there are application-based questions, there are subjective questions, but the comprehending capability and your mind, your thinking, the thinking goes in a lot. So don't just take it because it's easy or मुझे घर से बाहर निकलना है इसलिए मैं ले रहा हूँ. Don't do that, because once you know, if you are someone who's very close to your family and you move out, again, you are just like homesick. You cannot just undo what you have done, and unless you are very rich. So yeah, and I mean, because the liberal arts campuses are also very less in India. There are very few: Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and Haryana. So just you know, as she said, take an informed decision and don't do it because आपको easy लग रहा है या फिर आपको just, you know, you just want a degree. There's a lot in it. And secondly, if you are like taking liberal arts, choose a minor, because you know, choose your major minor according to your field, which is a little bit employable. But everything is like, you know, everything you learn, everything you study is actually employable in their own field, obviously. But if you're confused कि मैं क्या करूँ, and you know, I don't know, take a minor which can get you a good master's or a good job at least, so you can have that on your resume कि, you know, I have done this. And before jumping into any subject, just research about your own, you know, personality, about your own likings. Ki, do I want to go in this field? Because as we were talking earlier, like, you know, I actually had बहुत ज़्यादा interest in psychology and geography. I was gonna take, like, you know, psychology as my major or minor, and geography also. But then again, I realized that my inclination is towards management, businesses, and you know, a little bit of economics, finances, and everything, management as a whole. So I took an informed decision and took my major as economics. So at least do a research, have that self-discovery session with yourself, that which field you are inclined to. You don't need to get a solid answer, but at least know कि, you know, these are the options and I can do it. And then automatically when you start studying, you'll get to know.
So would it be fair to say that do not expect an immediate ROI, but just look at the longer picture and your eventual goal?
Yeah, to sum it up, yes, that is what I would say, until and unless, you know, you have also been working on your technical skills. Apart from liberal arts courses, as she mentioned earlier, if you are doing stuff to, you know, get that technical knowledge, because see here, it's not there. The technical knowledge is not there. You can do a lot of other things with liberal arts, but in terms of immediate high-paying employment, that's not there. Either do masters or settle for internships and, you know, make your way through.
Right.
Nothing will be immediate, at least after liberal arts. That's what I feel, and that is what is there. Because in terms of employability, yeah, it is something that I would say is lacking. So until and unless you do not come from an Ambani family, like, you are very sure that, you know, you have time after this, or you're confused and you are fine with that stage, then you can go ahead with it. But then again, make sure that it is a burden you are willing to take, because it wasn't easy. It's not something that, you know, liberal arts did not liberal for a lot of time.
And like during your college, you know, hours and the tenure, you will be there. Participate in events and, you know, the series that people just mingle in. Because even though you have different personalities from others, but, you know, the factor that you're interacting will help you a lot in terms of, you know, views, perspectives, thinking, you know, meeting people, and also networking. That's a big thing. So, you know, just attend events, grab any opportunity you can get, because you don't have anything to lose here. You just have to take the opportunity and, you know, seize it to the fullest. So just mingle in everything. I just had 1 year in college, like physically. So I used to do as many events as I can, and, you know, got into clubs, though I completed the classes and the assignments simultaneously, but yeah, mingle in a lot. Interaction is very important.
I think that goes for a very general, you know, college life suggestion. But then again, it's very important. It's important in every field, because after leaving from liberal arts, there is a lot of learning that happens. So, you know, just don't, like, make the best of it. because there is a lot to learn that will eventually help you with your work, with your career, with even your relationships, your personal life. It does build you up in a very holistic manner. It does liberate you in a lot of ways. But then again, be patient with it, because you need to give it time to be able to see it. I wasn't very sure, why am I studying philosophy, because it was going bouncer above my head. But then again, now I can relate it to apply it, see life in a way. If you take real life examples as well, I can now make sense of, why the Indian economy might fluctuate, because a war is happening between Palestine and Israel. So in that sense, liberal arts does give you a very holistic interpretation and understanding of the world. Because as I mentioned again, sociology aided in economics, economics aided in sociology. When you study sociology, you would understand, why certain people would behave a certain way because of the economic background that they're coming from, because of the transactions that they're used to. So yes, if you are interested in a very holistic understanding, if you want to get into the fields of psychology, economics, marketing, sales, any other field, I would say, even law, it prepares you for any field. Every field that you want to get into, it does, until and unless you are, very sorted that, you want to do engineering or medicine. You can do liberal arts and then get into anything else, because it will build you up for whatever other thing that you want to do in life. But then again, make sure that if you want to work right after, then work accordingly. Get yourself equipped with technical skills, because I think that still hasn't been incorporated in the Indian culture of Indian liberal arts.
Great. I think this has been good, and hopefully, students watching this will now have a much better idea. At least I got to know a lot more about liberal arts. I was only wondering that, why didn't I have the option when I was studying back then?
Exactly.
So yeah, thank you so much for taking out time and doing this and helping our students make a better decision. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
for
you.
inviting us.
Thank you for hosting such a nice thing. I think a lot of students, parents, society, relatives will get a better answer as to what did I do achieve in these 3 years.
You can send this podcast to them.
I will.
Super.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.